What up? This is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of limited series The Serpent. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button and ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you would like to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this. This series is actually a Netflix and BBC co-production. It's kind of like that Dracula, remember? So The Serpent already aired on BBC earlier this year, and it's finally arriving on Netflix for everybody else in the world. It caught my attention because number one, Tahar Rahim is a fantastic actor. You may have recognized him from his Golden Globe nominated performance in The Mauritanian. And number two, this series covers one of the most notorious serial killers ever. And yet, if you asked general public today if they had ever heard of the name Charles Sobhraj, they would probably go, Charles who? And that's because Charles Sobhraj doesn't necessarily have the same media reputation as Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, Richard Ramirez. Those guys have been constantly immortalized by the media over and over again. Whereas Charles Sobhraj, not so much. I mean, there were books and loosely inspired adaptations, but that's about it. So Charles Sobhraj is not as ingrained in our society's psyche as those other guys I mentioned. And so, how does this limited series do in tackling the life and crimes of Charles Sobhraj? I think The Serpent is suspenseful, at times scary, extremely atmospheric, and Tahar Rahim delivers a cold, charming, diabolical performance. Everything you've probably heard about Charles Sobhraj, of how he's cunning and meticulous and calculated and can con his way out of any situation. Tahar gets all of that down pat and nails it every time. Written by Richard Warlow and Toby Finlay, directed by Tom Shanklin and Hans Herberts. In The Serpent, posing as a gem dealer, Charles Sobhraj and his girlfriend Marie-Andre Leclerc traveled across Thailand, Nepal, and India in 1975 and 1976, carrying out a spree of crimes on the Asian hippie trail, becoming the chief suspects in a series of murders of young Western travelers. When a junior diplomat named Herman Nippenberg of the Dutch embassy in Bangkok unwittingly walks into this intricate web of crime, he, with the help of his spouse, sets off an extraordinary chain of events that will see Sobhraj become Interpol's most wanted man, with arrest warrants in multiple continents. This series' depiction of the 1970s in itself is very interesting because yes, it has your usual bell-bottom outfits and sideburns, but it's the 70s in the South and Southeast Asia. So the production also incorporated how those regions looked back in that era, that post-Vietnam War era, and some of the 60s vibe for the free-spirited vagabonds also spills over. That's the thing that's most devastating about these events. At the time, there was this strong stigma against hippies, so much so that when Herman Nippenberg tries to raise attention about these murders, many of the authorities kind of brush him off. To them, it's like, it's one less hippie on the planet. There's an underlying theme of prejudice and discrimination that this show brings up. It even dedicates this project to the travelers by the end credits roll. Equally fascinating are the performances of Billy Howe and Jenna Coleman. One can even argue that Billy is also the lead along with Tahar. The script plays off this cat and mouse chase that forces you to take sides. Charles Sobhraj lives up to his nickname. He's like a snake that sheds his skin. He's very cocky. He truly believes he'll never get caught. Nippenberg, on the other hand, is an idealist. He's cut from the cloth of people who think that mankind should literally care for one another. Billy is remarkable in this role. His frustration and his laser-focused determination come off very raw. And Jenna Coleman, who many of you know best for her stint on Doctor Who, really disappears as Marie, who's drowning and suffocated in an abusive relationship. Does this limited series have to come in 8 episodes? Probably not. There are times where I feel like some of the episodes are just regurgitating the events. And as revealing as this may be, the reason or the question of why is not as deeply explored as I would have liked it to. I think it's a well-crafted show. It's a performance-driven show, but The Serpent would have made a bigger splash had the format been a Netflix crime documentary series instead, because that is where the fans' biggest obsession lies.